Hello students, welcome to La Excellence. Welcome to the session on Hindu editorial 23rd Feb. Myself Sandeep, Rambabu sir is busy with the interview preparations. So I would be taking up this session. So let us begin the session with the first editorial topic, that is with respect to the battle lost. So in this, as we are aware about the Nagaland issue, in the editorial, the focus is on giving up. That is, yes, whenever you take any decisions in a society which is against the traditions and rituals, in this case, it is about giving 33% reservation to women, which they actually desire or which they should actually get because of the constitutional amendment. But because of the pressure from other political parties or the opposition, patriarchal society, the government has to succumb to pressure and they did not go ahead with it. So, this they call it to be battle lost. And the editorial recommends that whenever we take harsh decisions of this sort, even if it is against the mindsets of the people, we should stick to this. So later in the second half, they actually talk about the politics which are actually present there, and we are not much interested to look into that. The next article is Aging with Dignity. So in this Aging with Dignity, they are actually giving us some information with respect to the old age people who are actually present. India always celebrates about the demographic dividend because of the young population we have. But what is more important for us to look at is also the aging population, because today we are at 6% in the total world population of elderly. We are at 6%, and it is said that Indians will be 20%. And they give us a lot of information about what is the impact of this if the elderly is not taken care of. So some factual information in the first half: world's second largest population of elderly defined as above the age of 60 years and above. And then in the last, they also talk about some benefits that should be actually given to this. That is, for the people who actually work in the private sector, they may come up with the insurance policies which may help them post retirement. But what about the poor and the unorganized sector? Yes, there are certain insurance schemes, and there are certain schemes preferably working for the welfare of the aged people, but still enough needs to be done, especially when it comes to providing them proper shelter once they retire and other work benefits. So this is the focus from social issues point of view. This article will be beneficial. The argument is not much important, but the factual information which is there in this, that is 20% of the Indians, and what other facts like 3% of persons aged above lived alone, 9.3% live with their spouses, and 35.6% live with children. These some factual information which is there may be beneficial for your answers. So next, let's take the other major article which is actually there in the editorial, that is with respect to a foreign policy of cruel populism, where they are actually focusing upon the Trump. And they are saying that Trump's focus on the religion. Earlier, Trump in his campaign, he had told that our focus of foreign policy will not be in toppling the governments, nor it will be in advancing the nation building of those countries, but we will be focusing only on US foreign policy and US nation building. This is what it tries to say. UPSC will never ask you a question about what are the impact or what is cruel populism of the foreign policy which has emerged after the Trump era. No controversial things will come up. And always remember, nowadays you might have observed that Trump is becoming a bit more traditional politician, where whatever he had told earlier with regards to the foreign policy, it may be with respect to Russia or any country, things are changing. So people have a particular opinion about Trump and they are trying to project the same thing everywhere. Being a UPSC aspirant, be conscious and look at the things only from UPSC point of view. So I would say this article is not very much important for us. But the next article in the same page with respect to tackling the Islamic State, which is actually written by R.K. Raghavan, who is our ex CBI director, it is very, very important for us to know from his point of view what is Islamic State or how we have to deal with Islamic State. So here he clearly says that the Islamic State is not fighting against other religion alone. It is also fighting against non-Sunni population and the Shia population. So this is what the article tries to tell in its second paragraph. And in the third paragraph, where we are actually focusing on attracting the youth, it says that almost across the world, from 80 countries, people are coming towards ISIS. They are participating voluntarily and they are providing the support that is required for the ISIS. But nowadays it has reduced. So some factual information and what are the other things, that is even to the extent of some families shifting and providing the sex slaves for these population is being seen. So this is what R.K. Raghavan talks in the beginning. But where is the IS heading towards? He says that they are actually losing the things. They are fighting against different groups as well. And most of it is already lost. So this is the focus of this particular article. Nothing much is required for you from these two articles today. So let's move to the next. So in the next page, let's focus on a disaster that's still unfolding, where Jayanti Natarajan talks about the oil spill which has actually occurred off the coast of Chennai near Ennore. They give you the factual information when it happened and how it happened. That is not much required. But the major focus of the article is about the accountability. It tries to tell you here that the biggest problem with the way we are dealing with the disasters is that there is no standard operating procedures that exist. And whenever disasters occur, the biggest problem is that the agencies, they do not come and act to contain the disaster. Rather than that, they try to control the damage to their reputation or to the institutions. That is, it tries to say that even though the event occurred, no one was actually bothered about it, but they were trying to say that nothing has happened and we are looking at it closely, we are watching at it closely. This type of message gives lot of trust deficit about the institutions. So they say there should be a contingency plan properly, and it also talks about the transparency that is required, where whether the fishermen can eat this fish or not, what are the problems that they are going to face. So these are some of the things which it tries to say. And the other thing which people talk is about the bioremediation which can be used to remove the oil spill which has actually occurred. For this, the argument of the article is that there are many non-biodegradable elements like zinc and other products or heavy materials that are actually present in the oil spill, and because of this it will enter into the food chain and have problem for both the human beings and the marine life. So this paragraph actually talks about it. So these two are very, very important from the disaster management point of view. So it is actually questioning about the way we respond during the disasters So, from the oil spill point of view, when you're writing in your answers, this particular paragraph about the bioremediation and a proper contingency plan, these two are very, very important. And then it also talks about the more ecological damage, that is because of the oil spill that has occurred, mangroves in other areas like Pulicat mangroves and Pichavaram mangroves may be affected is what is being given here. So if you can observe these two and write, it is more than enough. Then we have to see the other important attitude problem where they are actually talking about how to ensure open defecation free in our societies. For this, the article actually says that one of the major problem for going for open defecation in the villages is that of the problem of the pits. Whatever government has promised now, it needs manual scavenging. And the so-called high caste people, they never try to go for this manual scavenging because they will be outcasted. And today, the Dalits and other people who were earlier involved in this, thanks for the efforts made by the government, they are also not willing to go. So with this, if the pit solution is not removed, then removing open defecation is really very difficult. For this, the article tries to tell that recently the minister, he himself was involved in removing of this. It was not a photo op, but to remove or change the attitudes of the people that it has nothing to do with the caste. So the article argues that if the government goes ahead with its projects of two pits, which the government has promised that if one pit is filled and if no one is there to remove it, and if you can allow or give significant time for it to decompose, then removing the decomposed waste is not similar to the manual scavenging. So they say that it provides an opportunity for the villagers to use the toilets which are constructed at home. But villagers want larger pits which actually take decades to fill, and they say it is very difficult because it is costly as well. So the government solution is actually the two pit solution, and according to the manual scavengers and their rehabilitation act, it is said that removing the decomposed waste is not considered to be manual scavenging. So legally also the action will not be considered to be problematic. At the end, the article tries to tell you that if we can change the attitude of the people towards manual scavenging, not just the open defecation problem, but also the fight of Ambedkar and Gandhiji towards seeing untouchability or removing untouchability from the society completely can be achieved. So this may be important basically from ethics point of view when they are actually asking you to change the attitude, or it may be important from governance point of view when we are talking about different measures to implement Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in detail. Fine. Thank you guys.